how to take care of our own skin.
Skin is an organ.
Dr. Pooya Beigi, a dermatologist and dermatology surgeon.
Heart is a very, very important organ, protected by bony ribs in a very good cage. Skin is an organ, and it is not only a solid part inside the body, it has covered all over the body. Skin is a non-well protected organ.
It's very exposed.
Skin is working all the time, even when we are asleep. And the main job would be a big barrier and big protection against the bacteria, virus, different infections.
I mean, we don't give it nearly enough credit. Now that you're breaking it down, I'm like, wow. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Blissy Experience. I'm your host, Ariana, and today's episode is a fascinating one where we're going to dive into all things dermatology. Of course, we know that there are multiple aspects of dermatology, like medical treatments to the cosmetic side of things. So here with us today is Dr. Pooya Beigi, a dermatologist and dermatology surgeon, and we are just so excited to learn more about your background and, of course, learn so much more about how to take care of our own skin. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So let's just start. You have a very extensive background. You have done some very important work, not only in dermatology, but also the medical community at large. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you so much. Yes. I had my medical school in Iran, and I graduated there, and then I moved to Canada. And after Canada, I moved to the United States, and again, I moved back to the UK because I was just going back and forth to the UK as well. And now I have my medical organization in California and also my practice in London.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sounds like a really, at least, fun way to approach.
Yes, it was a very, very long journey.
Being able to treat people in, a variety of places. So tell us a little bit about the organizations that you helped found.
Okay. It's called Misdiagnosis Association Research Institute. I founded this organization in 2012 in Seattle in the United States. And then in 2014 we moved to California because at that time I was just living in Vancouver, and it was more convenient for me just to go from Vancouver to Seattle. Mm-hmm. But in 2014 we moved to California. Our organization works on misdiagnosis and any error in treatment. At the beginning we started with misdiagnosis mainly in my area, which is dermatology, and we expanded to the other specialists, and I was so lucky that I could find some professors from different universities in different fields, and they were interested in joining this organization just to carry on with misdiagnosis in their field. Right now we have more than 800 people volunteering for our organization from different countries all around the world. Our main focus at the beginning was error in diagnosis or misdiagnosis. And after that, we found that, any misdiagnosis can lead to error in treatment, error in different things. And after that, we had just to expand our field to error in medicine. And right now, we say MARI is an organization working on any error in medicine.
Yeah, wow. And I understand that it was among the first organization to address specifically misdiagnosis. Why do you think there wasn't an organization prior to now on such an important topic?
It's a very good question. At that time, when I wanted just to start this organization and establish this organization, when I was just using the word of misdiagnosis, many doctors, many physicians were reluctant about this word, and they didn't want to, and they pushed me not to use this word. This word is not good, especially for you as a doctor. Why do you want to just use this word? It means that we have error, or we have, for example, physicians who are doing mistakes. Yeah. However, I said that, this is a fact. Misdiagnosis happens every day. Sure. I should just say that we have many different organizations working for improvement in diagnosis, and one of the main one would be the one for my lovely friend Dr. Mark Graber, which is called Improving Diagnosis Society and Organization, which is a very famous organization. And at the time that I established my organization, I was so lucky that I was contacted by him, and he was in New York, and he said, okay, I want to just see that who is that brave person who chose this name for this organization. And I said, yes, I'm so delighted that I could just have a chance to talk to you. And he said, yes, go ahead, move forward. And honestly, during this journey, there were many people who were not happy, or they were not happy, not good to say not happy. They didn't want just to see this organization with this name just moving forward. But there were many professors and well-known doctors. They pushed me and they encouraged me, just go ahead, move forward.
Wow.
And I'm so glad that anyway, after 10 years, we are right now in this.
Wow. Well, we see a lot in innovation that there can be controversy, especially on the front end, right?
Yes.
So that makes sense. When something is new, there's going to be a lot of pushback. But again, going back to how important it is, I know I've had skin troubles in my life, and sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out what's going on. So what have you seen to be some of the most common misdiagnoses in dermatology?
It's misdiagnosis happens with simple things. First of all, the most important thing that I would like just to advise to many people would be giving good information to your doctor would be the most important thing. Because you may go to your doctor, you may give them information that may not be helpful, but some of them would be very, very helpful, and you may, for example, forget them. Giving information would be very, very important. Let me add something to my previous comment. The thing is, our organization, we didn't start this organization just to fight with anyone. We are not trying just to make something bold that, okay, this doctor, this university, or this clinic has done this mistake. No, we don't use any name or anything. We are trying just to have more data from different organizations and universities, and we try to find out and do research how to reduce the number of misdiagnosed people.
Yeah.
And as I said, for example, one of the most important things would be giving good information to your doctor. And the other thing would be, yes, for example, the other things, for example, we unfortunately we see a lot of errors happening during the paperwork, or even information gathering or entering information into the system, or something that happens similar to that one. We have, or even the prescription. The prescription can be, for example, sent to the pharmacy and the pharmacist, or, for example, preparing the medication actually may have some error in actually when we are preparing the medication for the patient, or even after all steps. Imagine that all of them have been done correctly, but when the patient takes the medicine to his or her home, just to take the medication, they may take the medication by mistake.
Sure.
For example, the antibiotic that should be taken every 8 hours, they may take it, for example, once a day, and they miss 2 capsules or 2 tablets a day.
Sure.
And then when they see that the infection that they had hasn't been treated.
Sure.
So
potentially getting worse, right? Because infections can also mutate.
Exactly. So that's why we expanded our field to error in medicine, because we found that misdiagnosis is only one small part of this long journey.
Yeah,
So,
and how many hands are a part of that whole journey? To your point, it's starting with the patient going in, providing not only accurate but enough information to the doctor, but then the doctor, you're right, that has staff that writes up the paperwork, that sends it to the pharmacist, who then the patient eventually takes it home, and it's really up to us to be able to execute that treatment on our own a lot of the time. And this is something that I think many of us don't even think about. Does it still excite you now, 10 years in?
Yes. And every day we open a new chapter of a book that we haven't thought about it. For example, we have many reports of patients who have brought the medication to their place, and they use the medication of, for example, their parents by mistake, and it has been switched or swapped. Or the other things, or for example, the medications that has been switched by each other. The medication for hypertension has been taken instead of, for example, for example, the medication for stress or anxiety, and then the medication for anxiety has been taken instead of, for example, a diabetes medication.
I feel like there's a movie plot in here somewhere.
Exactly. So in 2010, I did a research in the pharmacy regarding medication error happening in pharmacy. And there I found interesting cases there. And we found that, for example, I found a patient that came to the pharmacy and said that I got this medication for my heartbeat, but whenever I take it, I sleep for 8 hours. And we found that this medication is for sleep, not for the heartbeat or for
So it was just the wrong medication.
The wrong medication that he was just taking. Everything was fine, but he was just taking the medication by mistake.
Oh, okay, so the pharmacist did provide the correct medication. He was getting them mixed up at home.
Exactly.
Wow. And going back to skin conditions specifically, are there any skin conditions that you find are more commonly misdiagnosed than others?
Yes, the most important one that I should just mention again to our lovely audience would be skin cancers or moles. We have many moles that can be ignored easily by the patient, especially the moles on the areas that cannot be seen easily. We have many patients who are living by their own, and they have many moles on their back. And for example, in my clinic, when I see a patient and I check the back and I say, okay, do you have anyone just to take a photo for you? And he says, no, my children, for example, I have, for example, my children living in the other areas or in the other countries, and it's something. Moles would be ignored easily, unfortunately, most of the time by patients. And also definitely the other things is skin infections or sometimes inflammatory disorders in the skin. We have some skin conditions. For example, the patient thinks that, okay, it might be for example, a simple eczema or for example, a simple hive, and they ignore it and they come to the doctor after a few years. And we say, okay, you had this. Why didn't you report it to your GP or your doctor? And they say, okay, I thought that it's a very simple eczema that I can just apply moisturizer and it will disappear.
Just temporary solution, and that probably works for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, and also, unfortunately, we have a type of skin cancer that I wrote a book about it. It's called mycosis fungoides, and it can be easily misdiagnosed, and that's why it was my interesting topic that I work on it, and I published a book in 2016. And unfortunately, this problem would be found not always, but most of the time, or it would be better. Sometimes it would be better to say sometimes it would be diagnosed so late. So because it's a type of skin cancer, it's kind of a lymphoma that involves skin, and it would be diagnosed so late. And that's why I would highly recommend just to show anything on your skin to your doctor, or if something happens, not only for your skin, in regard to your health, please do not ignore it. Please just show it to your GP. And thanks to the technology, we have many different teledermatology, teledoctors, and applications that there are doctors available online for you, and you can just reach them easily in your country, in your state, wherever you are in or all around the world.
Wow. Yeah. What are some key pieces of information that a patient should be ready to provide to their dermatologist?
Another good question. First of all, the timeline would be very important, and how it has changed, especially for the moles. They should be aware that when they found that the mole has developed on their skin, and if there is any change in the mole, they have noticed or not. And this is the key information. However, the other things would be important, because they should find out if, not only for moles, for example, for other skin conditions, if they should just tell us if during that time, if they have traveled somewhere, if they have started using a new medication, if they have started a new diet, or if they have moved place from one home to another home.
Sure. Even things like new laundry detergent.
Exactly.
Sure.
So everything or anything, any information would be a key point for a doctor.
So kind of this is the one time in life where oversharing, one of the times where it could be very helpful,
Exactly.
it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. So do you find that the majority of the time, is it half the time, that when a misdiagnosis is made in, let's just say, the field of dermatology, it's because there wasn't necessarily enough information provided?
Unfortunately, I cannot give you any specific statistic about it because misdiagnosis, we have something in medicine which is called the differential diagnosis. Differential diagnosis means that when you see a patient, you should think about some different diagnoses that they come to your mind as a doctor. And definitely one of them should be the bold one. But you shouldn't ignore the other ones.
Sure.
So that's why from the beginning we should think about differential diagnosis. So that's why we cannot say that misdiagnosis happens a lot, because at the beginning any GP or any doctor can think about different diagnoses, and definitely they do. However, misdiagnosis starts from the time that we think about one of them more than the other ones, and we start treatment for that one.
Yeah.
Without thinking about, okay, there might be the other one. Let me just move forward a little slower, or, for example, think about the other ones. This is the first point, as I said. But yes, it happens. But unfortunately, we cannot tell you any specific percentage that how many times, or, for example, for what reason. What's the percent? For example, this percentage of misdiagnosis happen, and we would like just to find out the source of error in medicine, which, as I said, starts from this point, or, for example, it starts from the time that the patient has a problem and they ignore it and they go to the doctor because they are so busy with their children, with their life, work, and everything. And after a few months, they come to the doctor and they say, okay, I have this problem. 2 months ago, I had a very, very, very lovely patient, and she came to my clinic and she said that, yes, I was busy with my husband. Unfortunately, he had cancer. And after 2 years, I said, okay, I should just come to doctor. And after 2 years, she showed me something that definitely it was better to be shown 2 years ago rather than now.
Sure. But you're right. There are huge considerations in people's lives, whether caretaking for someone or busy with young kids at home, or, you know, your work is crazy. But how important is it to be able to get in early on something like a skin condition?
Exactly.
Shifting gears a little bit to skin care. I know in dermatology, there's everything from just the cosmetic side of things to, of course, the health and safety side of things. When it comes to skin care and skin products that we use on our face, what's your take on how to choose the right products for our skin in a world where there's so many products available?
If I want to talk about skin care, I would like to start this topic with this actually comment. Most people have heard about this sentence: skin is an organ.
Yeah.
And many people know that, okay, skin is an organ, heart is an organ. But I would like just to emphasize on each word of this sentence.
Okay.
Because I would like just to look at anything from different sides. From the time that I was a child, when I was just looking to the moon, I was just saying, okay, there definitely there are different sides of the moon.
Yeah.
So I would like to know. And when I grew up, I found that, okay, well, we see only one face of moon, because moon is just turning around, it's just moving, and we only see one face of the moon.
Sure.
Anyway, the thing is, for skin, I want to just tell you the story from different sides, and I want to just open new doors for people to see that how important is the skin and how important is the skin care. I start with this example. Heart is a very, very important organ, protected by bony ribs in a very good cage, which is chest, and other organs have been added and to protect more, and definitely they are doing their very well job, like lungs or muscles or etc. The thing is, when we are talking about heart, everyone knows that heart is a very, very important organ.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when someone would like just to share a bad news with their parent, with his or her parents, they may say that, okay, let me just tell her, for example, very slowly or in a way, because my dad has heart problem and I don't want to just make a big pressure on the heart.
Yeah.
It is so good. As a doctor, it is so good that we think about how important is heart and how we can just protect it.
Yeah, be gentle with it.
Exactly. But let's talk about skin. Skin is an organ, and it is not only a solid part inside the body. It has covered all over the body. And actually, it's if I want to just talk scientifically, it would be better. It would be better to say it has covered most areas of the body.
Yeah.
Not all areas. And this is the important fact about skin. So that's why I should just say skin. Right now, I want to just add more words into this sentence.
Okay.
Skin is an important organ in the body. First. Second of all, I would like just to say that skin as unprotected, or again, if I want to just talk again scientifically, I can just say skin is a non-well protected organ.
Sure. It's very exposed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exposed to everything.
Everything, yeah.
Exposed to pollutant, chemicals, radiation, everything.
UV rays, free radicals, I mean, everything.
So this is the second thing. And third, skin is a hard-working organ, because like heart that beats all the time, skin is working all the time, even when we are asleep.
Yeah.
We are, and when whatever we do, they are just doing their job. They are balancing the temperature by releasing sweat, or for example, different things happening in the skin. And the main job would be a big barrier and big protection against the bacteria, virus, different infections. And all the time, even when we are asleep, a mosquito is flying, just sitting on the skin.
Yeah.
They try just to just do their job. And the skin, there are a lot of things happening in that area for actually just to protect the body from further inflammation, further infection, and etc.
I mean, we don't give it nearly enough credit. Now that you're breaking it down, I'm like, wow. I mean, there's a lot of surface area. Obviously, it's the largest organ of the body. Exactly. A lot of surface area. And you're right, even something like a tiny mosquito coming to attack the body with, poison that can then potentially cause a lot of other problems. The fact that there is so much function that can happen purely at the surface level of the body through the skin is really very impressive.
Yes. And two more things. One would be the reason that I emphasize these words, because skin, we should just think about how skin has covered most areas of our body. Because when we are talking about the skincare, many people right away think about, okay, products for the face, product, just how can I be more beautiful and pretty? Of course, it's good, but skin has covered different other areas.
Yeah.
Like even the back, that a lot of pressure is on it.
Yeah.
Buttocks, just even heel, everywhere.
Feet, hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why we need just to take care of our skin on each part of the area, each part of the body that we have. So, and this is the first thing. And second thing would be even on the scalp. When we are talking about actually the head or this area of the body, everyone may think about the hair. However, we need just to think about the skin on the scalp. So how we can just make it more healthier.
Yeah.
And that's why definitely there are many good products and millions or billions of people are talking about these products every day.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, there are so many products, but there's also so many different parts of the body. For example, when I think about buying a shampoo or conditioner, right, that's scalp related. I'm personally not thinking much about the skin on my scalp, but I am thinking about, oh, well, how will this make my hair look? How will it make it feel? So how do you recommend simplifying this enough to where the everyday person can feel empowered to choose products for their own body and the different areas of their skin?
Okay, the thing is, I cannot say any specific advice that would be helpful for different products that we buy. But personally, and based on the research that I have done and the other scientists, first of all, we highly recommend the natural products, natural products or products with less aggressive chemicals. So this is something that we can recommend. However, there are other products that they have specific chemicals. However, they are so helpful for some specific skin conditions. And that's why it is highly recommended. Again, I'm just saying this. It's highly recommended for your skin health. You should just talk to an expert and who knows and the products and different things about dermatology or about the skin, and they can just give you a right advice. Yeah.
So when it comes to taking care of the skin on our face, let's say, which I know you make the great point, the skincare is really should be about the entire body, but just narrowing in for a moment on the facial skin. Something that we've come to learn over the years is that when we put on a bunch of, great skincare products, hopefully it's a very high quality, maybe more natural type of topical treatments. Then when we lay down on our pillowcase, if you have a very absorbent pillowcase, they can be completely absorbed off the skin. Then there you have something like a silk pillowcase that is shown to be able to help keep those topicals on the face longer. Do you have any take on the different options for pillowcases, and do you see that it makes a difference?
Yes, one of the things that is very, very interesting for me would be, I want to just start this conversation, this part of conversation with an example. Personally, I have a big issue for myself when I go to any hotel or any place that someone else has slept in the same bed. I figure out, okay, however, the sheet on the pillow has been changed, but the chance that, for example, the sweat from the previous person has been absorbed to the main pillow. Yeah,
right, the insert.
And again, when I just sleep, even the pillowcase is a clean one, but the chance of that, I don't want to just say any dirt or anything, but anyway, I feel that there might be again some kind of contamination with the sweats or different or previous products that they have used on their, for example, on their skin from the previous person or previous people, again coming back on my skin.
Or saliva. I mean, drool.
Exactly.
Right? I would imagine that can penetrate.
Exactly. Anything.
Yeah.
So that's why personally I would like just to use a pillowcase that just does not transfer anything.
So do you travel with a pillowcase?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Okay,
well, see, this is a takeaway to start traveling with your own pillowcase. But that makes so much sense.
Yes. That's why this is something, because this is at least a way that I can protect my skin on the face through anything, as you said, even saliva or anything else from the material. I don't want to just judge and say, no, definitely there are many, many good brands in hotels and they are just taking care of the hygiene and everything. No, I don't want to just judge. But I'm a person that I would like just to sleep on something that I feel that, okay, so this is my personal pillowcase and protects my skin through anything behind it.
Sure.
That's it.
And so is it kind of a waterproof barrier?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And as far as the different types of materials, do you notice that in your patients, people have problems with certain type of materials over others in pillowcases?
Yes, we have a skin condition which is called contact dermatitis. And in contact dermatitis, unfortunately, many patients may show some kind of skin reaction. Not only skin reaction, sometimes the reaction may show with another symptom. In that case, should be managed. But anyway, we have a condition which is called contact dermatitis, and contact dermatitis happens when the patient would be exposed or will be in contact in a material, or for example a chemical or something which he or she is allergic to. That can be anything, and that's why it is very, very important, and we advise the patients that if they notice any specific reaction under the skin when they, for example, wear anything, or when they have something as a cloth or whatever, they should just make sure that if there might be some kind of allergic reaction to the material of that cloth.
Yeah, so that could probably happen with anything from clothing to jewelry, shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything.
And just taking a moment here to shout out how much we love Blissy pillowcases. These are 22 mom, high quality, pure mulberry silk that if you're going to put something on your face every single night, like we're talking about in this episode, make sure that it's something that's high quality like this, something that's going to take great care of your skin, that's going to feel amazing, hopefully keep you cooler at night so that you're not sweating so much into your pillow. There are so many things that we can do to help promote facial skin health, and Blissy is definitely on that list. This is a great gift for yourself, a great gift for others, and if you haven't had a chance yet, be sure to check it out. If you do already have one, be sure to check out all of the beautiful colors that we have. I know I'm expanding my repertoire right now, getting my first pink blush one. I'm very excited about it. So as always, check out Blissy. We hope that you're loving this episode and this conversation as much as we are. If you are, please go ahead and like and subscribe to help encourage our podcast to keep going. This is something that's important to us, is to know that you as a community are enjoying these episodes and are learning a lot from these. So please support us by subscribing and also by sharing this with family and friends. There are so many things that could be absorbed into our pillowcase, no matter what material you use, right? From makeup products to bodily fluids. Getting more into the nitty-gritty, what kinds of things are in our pillowcase?
Everything can be on our pillowcase, including the chemicals from the makeup, or even bacteria, virus, and anything that may cause infection on the skin. So especially if I want to just give you a good example, would be some materials in the makeup can be can change the structure after some hours. And that's why for some makeup products, even the company advise the person just to clean the makeup after a few hours, because they may change the structure and it might be harmful for the skin.
Really?
So that's why it is very, very important just to make sure that not only on pillow, every time that even you touch your face or anything, you may not. You should just be aware of this retransferring, and this loop may happen again. So that's why it is something that many people may not know.
You mentioned a few minutes ago proteins and fats can change the way that a material affects our face. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, because protein has a structure, and that this structure can be changed by heat and temperature. The best example for protein would be the white egg. The white egg is one of the best examples for protein, and it is you see as some kind of liquid or jelly liquid, but when you give a little bit heat to it, change the structure would be changed, and it would be, for example, a sunny side egg, which is very, very delicious, but the color and the structure is completely different. Exactly the same scenario would be for the ingredients of the makeups. If, for example, if we have any makeup or anything on that we use for our face that has protein, it may change the structure and even behavior, even with temperature, or, for example, after few hours or few days.
So what does that look like practically? What risks can be associated with that protein changing on the face?
It depends to the. First of all, I should just say that not all proteins, or especially anything which is from protein in the makeup, can change behavior or structure. Mm-hmm. But I'm just talking in general. But some of them may change, for example, the structure, and to be another product or another chemical would be harmful for the skin. Mm-hmm. So that's why it would be good just to, this is advised by dermatologists, that we need just to use cleansing, and we need to do cleansing the skin mm-hmm. all the time, especially after the makeup, when we use makeup and when mm-hmm. we come back home or after the party or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. This is giving more color, I think, to being a woman who does wear makeup. Mm-hmm. Why it's important to wash our makeup off. I mean, when I was in college, I most of the time, I would say the vast majority of the time, did not wash off my makeup before I went to bed. I would just wear it all day. I'm exhausted by the time I get, in bed. I crawl into the sheets, I go to sleep, and I wake up the next day, and of course, maybe, take a shower, but then just do it all over again. Mm-hmm. And I heard once an anecdote that every time you don't wash your makeup off your skin, you lose, 6 weeks off your your looks age, if you will, as you get older. Do you think that there is any specific association there, that if you're not washing your face every night, you are going to age more quickly?
Of course. First of all, as we know, skin works as a barrier and a protector for the body. Mm-hmm. The main job of the skin would be just protecting the body from anything that comes or would be in contact with the skin, mm-hmm. either through light, UV, or even chemicals or radiation, as I said before. Mm-hmm. Let's go for the chemical part. For the chemical, the skin, when, for example, anything which is not from the body would stay on the skin for few minutes, few hours, even few seconds, mm-hmm. based on the material or the chemical or whatever has in that product, the skin starts just to show some kind of reaction. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some products are so good and makes the skin more healthier mm-hmm. that we have in the market. I'm not talking about those ones. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the products that when we put on our skin and the skin starts just to show reaction, sometimes the reaction would be massive, like the contact dermatitis I mentioned before, mm-hmm. and they show some kind of allergic reaction. Sometimes the reaction would be minimal, mm-hmm. and they may show some kind of minimal reaction. However, anyway, this reaction, we put an extra pressure on the job of the skin. Mm-hmm. This is exactly like the example that I said about the heart.
Yeah.
And when we want to just, for example, talk to someone and give bad news to someone who has heart problem, uh-huh. we should make sure that, we should just tell him or her in a way that doesn't affect the heart as mm-hmm. bad as, for example, we think. Mm-hmm. So exactly the same would be for the skin. Mm-hmm. When we are using a product, first of all, we should make sure that if I leave that product on my skin for how many hours, how many minutes would be recommended. Mm-hmm. Second of all, if I just pass that duration, mm-hmm. what would be the side effects?
Yeah.
So that's why these are important facts that everyone should know about different products and different things that they use, not only for face, hands, everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I would have thought that leaving on makeup could, of course, cause like clogged pores, for example. Maybe I break out. Of course, we don't want that, just because from a cosmetic standpoint, we're like, I don't want it to, break me out. I won't look good. But I had never thought about the fact that it could actually be medical trauma happening to the skin by leaving makeup on.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about SPF. Mm-hmm. So this is, I think, a very commonly understood thing that we all should be doing, right? And I use air quotes here because we all know that we should. I use it most days personally. Mm-hmm. My husband, for example, who is a male, almost refuses to put on SPF, and we're both still in our 30s, so I can understand why he's hesitant. You know, he's not seeing any major moles or any real problems that bother him personally. How important really is SPF, and what level of SPF really is safe? I've seen everything from SPF 4 to SPF 100. What do you recommend?
It's a very good question. Let me add something to your question, because you mentioned something that was very, very interesting for me, and you said that you use it most days. First of all, I want to ask you, please use it every day.
Every day, okay.
Whether or not it would be sunny, whether or not it would be the summer or spring, even in the winter time. Even when it's cloudy or raining, you should
really
apply
even on rainy days.
Yes, especially for people with light skin, that it is highly recommended. So, because even in the rainy day, in a rainy day or cloudy day, we have still UV, and UV would be dangerous. UV can change many different things in the skin. Again, I would love just to give examples, because with giving example, people can get the point better. Many people know that when they are going to nail salon, they use some kind of, for example, coloring,
gel,
and they put
UV. I do.
Exactly. Yeah,
I know. I do worry about it. How bad is it?
UV is UV, and with its side effects.
You're like, it's bad.
But,
okay, you already know that.
Yeah, but the thing is, it makes just the nail more beautiful, and people use it. It's recommended by some medical authorities, because the dosage has been revised and investigated. But anyway, I'm just talking about the UV in general. Yeah. I'm not talking about in this. So that's why please apply sun cream and SPF every single day. Let's come back to the percentage. The percentage, there are different recommendations. Dermatologists would like just to advise with more actually percentage. For example, I would like just to go with SPF. I would like just to advise with SPF 50, and many dermatologists advise with SPF 50. However, SPF 30 as well is recommended. Again, more percentage would be better. And on the other side, there are many products that, for example, you use some kind of moisturizer and they add a bit of sun cream into it, just to say that it is, for example, it is for sun protection as well, and it has SPF, for example, 30 in it. It is good, but I would again highly suggest just to use specific sun cream with high SPF percentage. As I said, 50 is highly recommended by dermatologists.
And is that simply because the fact that you're putting on the SPF by itself, it's just a more concentrated value of that SPF versus if it's in your moisturizer and your makeup?
Exactly, because it's very, very important to understand how sun protection cream works, because when we apply the sun cream on our skin, it doesn't work right away with the way that we think. It should stay on the skin for a few minutes and make a layer, a protective layer on the skin against the UV that we receive it. So that's why, and also it's recommended just to reapply it and renew it every couple of hours or every few hours, especially in sunny days.
Yeah. So is it safe to say that SPF 30 as a cream and a makeup that says SPF 30 are not equivalent in terms of protection?
I cannot say, because it depends to the manufacturer and the type of the cream, because we have some makeup creams that they have SPF 30 in it and it works very, very well. But in general, if I want to just advise as a dermatologist, I would advise just to go with sun cream, specific sun cream, which is sun cream and SPF 50.
So to just be extra safe.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I would imagine it's better than nothing, right? Using some kind of a makeup that has SPF in it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So coming back to just dermatology in general, there are, in my mind, kind of two major types of dermatologists that I might go to. One is on the more medical side of things, if I have a mole that I'm concerned about, and one is definitely much more cosmetic. Mm-hmm. How do you recommend people go about choosing the right dermatologist for what they're looking for?
Yes, dermatology covers a broad area, both in treatment side and the other side would be the cosmetic side. Mm-hmm. Definitely there are some overlaps. We have some medical problems or skin problems that should be treated not only because of the cosmetic issue, because of the skin disorder. Mm-hmm. For example, like acne, that should be treated because it may cause some scars on the face. Mm-hmm. So choosing the right dermatologist is definitely the most important person that can help you just to choose the right one would be the GP, because you are in contact with the GP and you can just talk to the GP and see that, for example, if this condition should be treated by, for example, with which specific because we have different subspecialties in dermatology as well. We have pediatric dermatology, we have cancer dermatology. However, dermatologists are so expert, they know different areas, but some dermatologists would like just to work on one specific subfield more than the other ones. Yes, advice from the GP or any qualified doctor would be the best thing. Yes, people can just Google, search, find out. Sometimes it would be very, very helpful. And most of the time, the dermatologist would advertise, or they will just tell that, for example, this is the area of my interest. For example, the area of my interest would be, for example, just aesthetics, or for example, my area of interest would be oncology, or for example, skin cancers. But the thing is, but I would highly suggest just to talk to the GP.
Yeah. And I know a lot of us are almost hesitant to bring things up to our doctors. I don't know why we're like that. I feel like so many of us just are like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. It's kind of a hyper independence, maybe a fear of, spending money out of pocket, having to go to a specialist or things like that. How would you recommend someone gauging the threshold for when they should bring something up to their doctor and go see a dermatologist?
First of all, the first advice and the most important advice would be if you notice any change, especially for the moles. If you see any new mole has developed, it would be highly suggested to show it to your GP first. Or if you notice any specific change in any mole or anything, or any rash or any red, even the redness, sometimes you see that the redness is, for example, and you have developed a new, for example, redness on your skin, and for example, it takes a few hours or few days, you still have it. Definitely, you should just talk to someone. That's why the first point would be change. Any change on the skin should be reported to a qualified doctor. Coming back to the moles, yes, for the moles, if you notice any changes happening, for example, we have a very common advice, which is called ABCD of the mole. A is for asymmetry, B for border, C for color, D for diameter. And if you notice any change in any of these characteristic of a mole, definitely this is something that should be reported as soon as possible to the doctor.
Yeah, wow. The ABCDs, that's so easy to remember. I love that you put it that way.
Yes.
What are some things that you see in terms of people misdiagnosing themselves? Do you think that people are sometimes hesitant or in denial almost that they're seeing changes? Or do you think that there may be some myths out there about how to assess your own moles and you're seeing a lot of people misdiagnosing themselves?
Yes. For self-misdiagnosing, if you are talking about this part, yes, we have many patients that may may have some kind of fear just to go to doctor.
Yeah.
And that's why we have something which is called white coat fear. So this is something that many people have this kind of hesitant, and then that's why they are not keen to go to their doctor, just to say that. Because for example, we have patients that they say, okay, if I go to my doctor and if I just complain about something else will come up, and I don't want to just start this domino in the investigation in my body. And that's why they are trying just to ignore it,
stay away,
or stay away, or postponing.
Yeah.
Or for example, some people may say that, okay, for example, I know my body better than anyone else. And we say, okay, just go to your doctor and just ask, okay, I have this problem. No, I know my body very well, and I know how to handle it. I know, oh, this is something that, my dad has actually exactly a similar mole, but not here, for example, somewhere else. And he was fine. And he passed away, 92-year-old. And I say, okay, it's good, but please just go to your GP at least, just to show it, just to have more on the safe side. It would be good. So this is something that unfortunately sometimes we don't see it. But on the other side, we have many patients who are so curious. They whatever comes on their body, or on their skin, they go to their doctor, and they say, okay, doctor, I noticed this, and they say, okay, we need more investigation or something.
Yeah, you're right. There's absolutely a spectrum. Some people, and even in my life personally, I can think of the people in my life that are like, I will not go to the doctor unless I'm on my deathbed. And then others who the second, they notice anything about their body that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, right? Do you find that there are any myths in terms of moles? Like, one that I've heard is if you have a mole, but there is maybe a hair growing out of it, that indicates that it's not cancerous. Is that true?
No. The thing is, again, I would like just to give more information. If we understand something, we can memorize it better. Skin cancer may develop from the small parts of the skin, which is called skin cells. So on our body, we have follicles, which is the root of the hair, and follicles of the hair would be found in many different areas of the body. So that's why there would be a chance that the skin cell just close to a hair follicle would be cancerous. And that cancer may grow, and when they would be seen on the surface of the skin, you may see, for example, hair just has grown in the middle of it. So that's why, please do not, I would suggest not to go with these common phrases that, okay, if I see there is the hair inside my mole, it is fine. No, we need just to show it to the doctor as soon as possible. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, that it could just be growing around the hair follicle because the cells are so small.
Exactly.
But it's not just one cell that you're seeing. You're seeing many cells.
Yes.
Yeah. What are top 3 things to avoid when it comes to taking care of your skin?
Avoid. I will tell you some different points, and I would like you to conclude from the points I tell you.
Okay, sure. I'll try.
No, because I think that because the most important thing about the skin would be hygiene that I advise personally to my patients. Hygiene is very, very important for skin, because, as I said before, already skin is doing its job very well, just to protect our body from different things that they may attack our body, including bacteria, virus, fungal infection, like different chemicals or whatever. So if we want to just add extra germ, I think that it is not fair. So that's why we need just to, okay, I will conclude instead of you. It would be better just to say avoiding dirt or avoiding germs with having more hygiene on the skin first.
Yeah, okay.
The second thing would be having more softer skin with applying moisturizer. So in that case, if I want to just conclude instead of you again, would be avoiding dryness on the skin. Because with having more softer skin, especially when you apply moisturizer, you make your body to have a better blood circulation to your skin, and the body would start its job better than anything else at the beginning. So that's why we'd have a better blood circulation. The body starts just to see and find out, because we have a lot of protective and defense mechanisms in our body, and that's why we can just ask our body to start defending our body against different things. And then, for example, if there any other medication or anything else is needed, we can just add it based on the recommendation of the doctor on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's why avoiding dryness or applying moisturizer. And third would be avoiding ultraviolet light and UV light, would be applying SPF or sun cream that you mentioned as well.
Yeah. So I have to ask the follow-up about the gel nail UV light. You mentioned that there have been some improvements, which I've heard this as well. Do you, in your opinion, recommend just staying away from gel UV light nail treatments in general, or is there anything we can do to help mitigate the risk?
Oh, okay. It's a good question. I don't want to just go into this field deeply, because any device would be released in any country, they should just pass certain certificates, and those certificates would be issued by medical authorities as well. So that's why if we see any device available in the market, of course, and most of the time, I cannot say always, but most of the time, they got their approvals from for example, the authorities that they should have it. So that's why in general, I cannot say that please avoid using them. No. Because they are approved, they are being used, and people are happy, and also there are a lot of businesses running, and there are a lot of organizations just keeping an eye on these, actually on the procedures being done in these businesses. But in general, UV is something that can be dangerous for the skin. How we can just protect it? Yes. First, by applying sun creams. Second, by measuring the vitamin D in our blood. That this is something that can be discussed with the GP, and if the GP approves, they can just request a blood test for the patient just to measure the level of the vitamin D, because level of the vitamin D is very, very important for many skin conditions, especially skin cancers. So these are the things that from this side we can advise people or patients to have it in their routine. But we cannot go with advising and avoid any specific action.
Yeah, it makes sense. Rounding home, what's the key takeaway that you want to leave with our audience today?
First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was very, very nice having this conversation with you, and thanks to everyone who are just doing great job on the back scene. The most important thing that I would like just to advise, because I chose Dr. Error as my name as well. So every one who is close to me, I would like when they are calling me Dr. Error instead of Dr. Pooya. I would like just to advise to everyone to find out how any error in your health, especially skin, which is the field of the field that I work, how to find the source of the error happens for your health. So, and in that case, they should just try to find out a way to avoid the source of that error.
Yeah.
Many people get a lot of problems because of the high, for example, blood pressure or different things in their blood. They should just avoid different things in their diet.
Mm-hmm.
People may get a lot of moles or a lot of problems on their skin. They should avoid the sunlight, and avoiding, for example, for some different things may not be possible easily. So that's why we need just to reduce that one. For example, with applying sun cream to have less sunlight exposure to our skin. So the key point would be find out the errors that may cause problem for your health.
Yeah, it's such a great piece of advice. I think just calling on all of us to become more active participants in our own health, to maybe keep better documentation, to relay information better to our doctors, and to, I think, take maybe even more accountability and mindfulness about what's going on with our bodies.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And the last thing, if you don't mind, I would like just to add, because many errors in the body can be recognized by our body. And some of them cannot be recognized and would be dismissed. For some of them that we can have some control on them, it is highly advised just to help the body to have more control on those parts. But for some parts, yes, for example, a cancer cell may start just to develop. Most of the time, the body can recognize it and they will just kill that cancerous cell. But sometimes the body, unfortunately, cannot find it, and they will start grow, and after some while, they may develop somewhere in the body, and unfortunately, the patient would be diagnosed as a cancer patient. For the part that, for example, it's out of our control, we cannot do anything. But for the part that would be under our control, for example, with have more, for example, healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, for example, protecting our skin with good products which are not toxic, which they may not cause damage to our skin or anything else. Yes, at least I would advise just to go with that part.
Yeah, just to be able to, the things that we do have control over, to be able to really step up and do those things more.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate this conversation so much. I know that I took a lot of mental notes personally. I hope that you at home listening to this also learned so much. Thank you again. This has been a conversation with Dr. Pooya Beigi, again, a dermatologist, a dermatology surgeon. And we would love to hear from you in the comments if you have any other questions for Dr. Pooya that we can follow up, or just other ideas for guests, topics, and themes that you want to see episodes on from us at the Blissy Experience. And if you haven't had a chance yet, of course, be sure to check out our Blissy Pillowcases. We have robes, face masks, all these made out of such high quality mulberry silk that are so fantastic for your skin, fantastic for your sleep, and fantastic for helping you feel like the best you when you wake up every morning. I'm Ariana. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Blissy Experience.